All right, what is going on, my dudes? We're back here today with a quick little video on the newest champion entering MCOC, and that is going to be Ant-Man Future. So, this guy is pretty darn cool, and he could do some interesting things. He's a very quirky character, man. We're going to break down everything you need to know about this guy. Of course, if you want a super ridiculously in-depth view of every single thing he does, every word in this, you can go check out the deep dive that take a long time to make. So, we're going to talk about the important stuff today because he has a lot of words and he does things in a very interesting way. Now, at the end of the day, this guy is a lot more confusing on paper than he is in reality, so it's going to make a lot more sense when I actually show you the gameplay and talk about what's going on. But anyway, let's start jumping right into it today. Now, I believe we could actually start with the Sig ability today since it doesn't influence too many things because he totally could be used unawakened here, okay? So, incoming bleed and incinerate effects suffer minus 90% duration. Great, right? Basically bleed and incinerate immune, essentially, but they did at 6200. And also, when one of those bleed or incinerate, effects expire, including instant effects, he's going to heal 3% of his missing health over 6 seconds. Okay, that's definitely solid, makes him pretty sustainable in those types of matchups. Also, when he would lose more than 10% of his max health from a single source, other than Special 3, kind of like that Doctor Doom, infamous Iron Man type ability, you reduce the damage to 10% of his max health, and you get a self-repair buff, healing 5% of his max health over 12 seconds. I do believe this works with Gallon's Harvest, by the way. So he's like a really weird type of Gallon counter, kind of, but like not really. It's I wouldn't use him for Gallon. You just can't really use Gallon for him. You know, it's like one of those things. All right, so he has a 10% chance for all incoming attacks that land or strike into his block to glance. Of course, if you glance, it cannot be critical, and the ability accuracy is reduced to 0%. All right? Now, there aren't many counters to this at the moment because they do not work on opponents with an active Pierce effect. That's how you counter it, right? So that's, Valkyrie, that would be Hulkling. But Hulkling is like the one really good counter for this guy. So, at the start of each fight, you inflict an encroaching power detonation passive for 14 seconds on the opponent. All right. When this expires, you drain 40% of their current power, and you inflict a power detonation passive for another 14 seconds. Okay. Now, the encroaching power detonation is going to be paused indefinitely when you aren't hitting the opponent. When you're hitting the opponent, that's when it ticks down. That's the first passive. Okay. Now, once it ticks down and turns into the power detonation passive, while the opponent is suffering from a power detonation passive, all hits inflict a 15% potency instant disintegration, dealing direct damage. And when that power detonation expires naturally, you inflict a disintegration debuff on the opponent, okay? And that lasts for 24 seconds. So the way this works, it's very confusing, but the way it works is you start out with encroaching power detonation. When that expires, you get a power detonation. When that expires, you get a disintegration debuff. Okay, that's how that works. Now, nano armor up buffs. You start each fight with one nano armor up buff, and this works like an armor up to counter havoc and all that fun stuff. Okay, every single one is going to increase your chance to glance incoming attacks by 6%. So a total of, what's the initial glancing? 10%? Yeah, the initial glancing is 10, so 10 plus 60%, up to 70% chance to glance all incoming attacks, which is very solid, man. Makes him very tanky and very have a good amount of control, So his nano armor effects are indefinite up to 5, okay? And any additional ones are going to last for 4 seconds and expire one at a time, a total of 10. But he's pretty much at 10 the entire time if you play him properly, okay? All of them are paused during both champion special attacks. Intercepting the opponent grants you 2 of them. Hitting the opponent while they're doing their heavy attacks, so interrupting their heavy gives 1. And each time you glance a hit, whether it be on the block, whether it be to the face, you gain 1 nano armor up buff. Okay? Now, if you intercept Ant-Man, you can't glance, and you remove one of his nano armor up buffs. However, when you do that, he gains a nano armor up passive, which counts as a buff. So you remove it, but you like kind of don't remove it. It's like an interesting thing. He's going to be a really annoying defender, but use Hulkling. All right. So Sturging Swarm. Okay. When you have 5, when you have 6 or more armor buffs, you enter Surging Swarm. And again, if you're playing him properly, you're always in Surging Swarm from the very beginning of the fight, okay? Because you're always intercepting, you're always countering their heavies, all right? So when you're in Surging Swarm, you gain additional attack. The Encroaching Power Detonation, which is the first passive, expires 200% faster, and this is crazy. The opponent is more aggressive while Surging Swarm is active, so it kind of has like permanent Infuriate on the opponent. So very powerful manipulation of the opponent. When the opponent's combo Ender glances, you inflict a stun debuff on them for 1.5 seconds. Be careful on defense, don't complete your combo. All right, on your fourth light attack, really cool for his special attacks. If you're at like a special 3 and you do a light ending combo, you have half a second to do a special 2. If you're at a special 2 and you do a light ending combo, you have half a second to use a special 1. And for some reason, it's very particular that this attack is non-contact. I don't really know why that's super duper particular, but just so you know, it's non-contact there. All right, so the special one is going to put a disintegration debuff on the opponent. It can happen through the block, all right? Maxing out at 2 stacks for that, lasts for 24 seconds. The final hit doesn't grant power, and it drains 15% of a bar of power for each disintegration debuff on the opponent. Now remember, the Encroaching Power Detonation turns into Power Detonation, and that turns into a disintegration, okay? That does not count for these disintegrations. You can have a total of 3 from those, and that means you can drain 15% of a bar of power times 3, so 45%. There's also one on the special 3, so you can have 4, right? Now, the special 2, this is where the damage comes in, okay? Each hit inflicts a 10% potency instant disintegration, dealing a lot of damage, but this ability gains plus 100% potency for each disintegration debuff on the opponent, right? So that's the money maker. You put them on with the special 1, you let the thing expire naturally, you do the special 2, boom, boom, boom. Big damage, right? Now, with the special 3, you gain 10 nano armor buffs, because why not? By the time you get to a special 3, if you don't have 10 buffs, you're playing him wrong. Also, you inflict a non-stacking disintegration debuff over 60 seconds, right? So obviously you can kind of see where this is going with this guy, right? How about we jump into some gameplay while I explain it further? So we're here with our rank 3 against our Deadpool, and this is kind of like how I like to do it, right? Bait out the heavy attack, you get the armor up, right? Do an intercept, you get 2 armor ups. I glance, I got an armor up, here we go, bam, Surging Swarm. Now he's aggressive. My Encroaching Power Detonation is about to go away. Check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out. It's gone. Power Drain, okay? Now at this point, I'm gonna hold my block. I'm very tanky, I'm glancing things, right? I wanna bait out heavy attacks, counter his heavy attack, go in for this, right? I'm watching, I have the instant disintegrations as I hit him, and now once my power detonation is about to expire, I'm going to do a light ending combo, okay, while the disintegration debuff is on, and now there's another one, okay, and now I'm going to go for another special one, light ending combo once more, okay, and now we have 3 disintegrations and the power detonation is active, and look at his power. Okay, every disintegration debuff is going to reduce his defensive combat power rate. If you run Collar Tech, even more so. And then the special 2 absolutely nukes, right? That nuked. So that's like optimal, total control over the defender. Like, they can't do anything, all that fun stuff, right? Like, they're not going to be able to do anything there. And you know, this is 150,000 health, but this would be like if you're doing like a battlegrounds match, right? Like, that would probably very comfortably take out like a 220,000 health pool defender, right? But also in battlegrounds, sometimes you can't always have total control over the fight, right? So let's say you want to get a little more loosey-goosey with it, right? Let's see how he could be if he's a little loosey-goosey, right? So here we go. We're gonna do the same kind of thing here, right? But also you can't always just keep them from throwing any specials. So of course, you know, sometimes the AI won't cooperate. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bait out a special attack first, right? Because, why am I doing that? Because the Encroaching Power Detonation is paused when I'm not hitting the defender, okay? So I'm using that to now have the power detonation passive on Deadpool while he has almost 0 power, okay? So it's going to be a lot easier to keep all of that, you know, him from throwing the specials. I'm actually going to put the disintegration on him early here. So now he's actually going to have reduced combat power rate. So I could be even more aggressive while he's aggressive. And check it out. The power detonation is about to expire. I only have to bait out 1 heavy attack here. Now we have a double disintegration, and I can bait specials here. It doesn't really matter, right? And now I'm going to put the Encroaching Power Detonations on, and it's gone. Drain his power again, right? We got the power detonation passive. He's not getting his power. We're going to go for the special 2, and he's nuked just the same way, right? And that was arguably even more efficient, right? So yeah, that's Ant-Man and how you really want to play him optimal. He's a very solid attacker, has a lot of control. He's going to be a real pain in the ass on defense. Let's go ahead and take a look at him, you know, with Suicides on, if you want to see how he works with Suicides. So, you know, he has, with the sick ability, he's very good with the bleeds. You know, he does like to use his special attack, so he is going to take that recoil damage, and the regen isn't super strong. He gains, 3% of his missing health, right? So it's like not super duper strong. But it's nice for just almost being bleed immune in a way, right? That's essentially what it is there. It's like almost bleed immunity, but not really though. It's like one of those things. So he's definitely usable with suicides, but at the end of the day, he's going to be really solid for like a dual champ in Battleground, I do think. I think he's going to have a lot of play there. But yeah, this is a larger health pool, right? Winter Soldier, obviously, and we have suicides on here. This is just rank 3. I'll show you a rank 4 video against a endgame boss in just a moment here. But here, right, we're going to do the first rotation I showed you here. So now we've got 2 disintegrations on Winter Soldier here, and we got those 10 armor up buffs, allowing us to block those hits nicely. Here we're going for another one. Bam, right? And now we got the power detonation passive, and we got all 3 disintegrations on, and as you can see, he's hardly gaining power while I hit him. And now the special 2 is going to do a lot of damage. Let's watch it together. Bam! Did I miss it? I missed the pause. Bam! 46,000 per hit. That's a lot of damage, right? Bam! So yeah, Winter Soldier down 70%, and then I just built up to a special 2, and I killed him again. You get the point, right? Yeah, so that's really solid. That's a solid, like, 400,000 health in 53 hits doing that rotation with the rank 3 Ant-Man with suicides on. That's definitely solid. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Weapon X boss in Act 7, because I like that fight a lot for testing out damage and stuff like that. We'll do rank 4, no suicides, no synergies, nothing like that. Let's take a look. Here we go. Okay, so actually the reason why I'm showing you this is because it's 600,000 health, right? He's a big scary Weapon X. And we're going to go for a different rotation now. We're going to go for the special 3, because we're going to go for a big, enormous special 2 with 4 disintegrations, okay? And this is something that you're, like, really not going to do too often. I mean, like, first and foremost, use Nimrod for this fight. It's one of those things. But it's like, hey, there may be fights that he's super duper good for, and they have 600,000 health. This is probably the rotation you should do in that scenario, I'm not saying, like, hey, fight all the big Weapon X's with Ant-Man. Don't do that, right? But anyway, here we go. So we got the 60-second disintegration on, right? The encroaching power detonation is counting down, and look at this, okay? I could have re-recorded it. I could have said, let me get a clean one. Trust me, I could get a clean one if I wanted to. I think it's actually a lot cooler that he glanced, right? He couldn't put all the bleeds on, and then once he did, we shrugged right off, and we actually regenerated from them a little bit, right? So yeah, lots of control over the fight in a lot of different ways. So at this point, we got our 4 disintegrations on. The encroaching power detonation passive is ticking down very, very nicely. Okay, and now we have this guy on the power detonation, and we got to build to a special 2. Let's go ahead and take a peek. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, 65,000 per hit. And now this guy has 600,000 health. He is down to 20% health, right? And at this point, right, look at this. All the disintegration damage, the red damage, he's not going to be able to heal that back. Look at his combat power rate. His combat power rate is basically nothing from just the 1 disintegration. All the other ones fell off, but here the special 2 is going to finish it off. Yeah, really, really solid stuff there. Very solid stuff. So his synergies, it doesn't really do anything for him. He can counter miss, by the way. If you put Ant-Man, Wasp, or Yellow Jacket on the team. This one, all right, maybe they're okay. This one, incoming shock effects suffer minus 60% duration, so that could make him good for, like, the hazard shift lanes in Alliance War, shock bleed. I think I spoke too soon when I said they don't do anything for him. They're good. They're good for certain targeted things, actually. And over here, okay, fine, maybe they're all pretty good. When the opponent gains a prowess effect, it gain a nano armor up buff. So, yeah, but again, you're going to gain those nano buffs very quickly if you play him properly, as you can see. Ant-Man gains his unsteady debuff duration. Wasp has some more shock potency. Yellow Jacket puts physical vulnerability when they get a power sting. Over here, actually kind of nice for Ultron, 30% bleed and degen debuff duration. Odin, when inflicted with a shock, you gain an indefinite shock resist buff, which is nice for his special 2 damage, and the very rare occasion to get a shock debuff on you. It'll be good when you're fighting Hulkbuster with him. Just use someone else. And then over here, this is an interesting one. They tried to do the thing with Cable where, he goes poison immune in a way, but it's with incinerates, and they reduce by up to 50% duration. But it still kind of messes him up a little bit. It's nice to have if you're up against a bishop or something with Cable. but use someone else. You know, that's like the theme here. It's like use someone else. But Bishop plus 20% Incinerate debuff potency. That's really good for Bishop, actually. 20% is a decent bit, and he has a lot of Incinerate damage on that special too. So an additional 20% is actually going to be very noticeable. But yeah, so really solid synergies for Bishop. Ultron, decent for Odin. Nice enough for Ant-Man there. And Ant-Man Future gains a decent bit from all those, and every single one of these is good champs. There's not a single bad champ on here. That's a big benefit from having a small synergy pool, is you only put the good ones in, right? So yeah, overall, man, this guy's cool. He's fun to play. He's gonna be a real pain in the ass on defense, dude. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna be a real pain in the ass on defense, because like his armor up buffs are annoying, and when you armor break him, he gains the armor up passive that counts for an armor up. And then it's like, oh, I'll just use Gallon. Well, guess what? Not if he's awakened, you know? Hercules is okay, because you can like intercept, and then you get all the stuff, right? But he can still glance. So yeah, and on attack, lots of control, fun to play, has a bunch of utility, right? The disintegration debuffs are very nice. I feel like there's a lot of design space for that in the future as well. It's pretty potent. Once you start stacking those up, you can really stay aggressive with the opponent. I think my favorite thing about him, is how he has like the constant AI manipulation on the opponent. You know, that's really cool. I think it's cool how he has that constant AI manipulation for making them more aggressive. I think that's very fun. But yeah, that is Ant-Man Future. Yeah, this is not Scott Lang, by the way. This is a different Ant-Man, a different guy. This is, what's his name? Dr. Zane Asghar. All right, man. All right. That's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop your boy a big ol' like. Ant-Man, nice addition to the game, man. This is a good month. Cassie and Ant-Man are a solid month. The next featured crystal is looking like fire already, man. Got Zemo. I already have. Hell yeah. Cassie, who I love, by the way. Cassie, and Ant-Man. So those three are super duper solid. If I didn't have Zemo, I would be like so excited for all three of those for the next featured. But hey, I'm excited for these two, for Cassie and Ant-Man. Hopefully next month's are bangers as well. And then hopefully the ones after that are too. And then we got 3 fire featured crystals in a row. That'd be great. We'll have to see. Only time will tell. But yeah, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Drop a like and do the things, and I'll be seeing you around, man.